Hello, it's time for another day of domino placing. It's Pips. Let's solve the easy puzzle, see how this goes. Right, look, we need a 3, but we also need, looks like we need 3s for the equivalence region as well, so let's put one there. And then a 6 is going to have, what, a 4 and a 2, I suppose? So 4 goes down there, 2 points into the 3, and then the other 3 finishes there. The 6 doesn't matter. There we go. That was the easy puzzle. Let's check the medium. Okay, we need a greater than 3 going into an equals, greater than 4 going into an 8. So the greater than 4 is a 5 or a 6. That's interesting. It means there definitely will be a 1 pip in the 8. So the other 2 in the 8 will need to be a 7. So we need a less than 3 pointing into that. So if it'll be 3 and a 4, or, well, it could be a 5 and a 2, or a 6 and a 1. Right, okay. And then we need 3 halves adding up to a 2. So we could have, for instance, just as an example, a double 1, then a 0 pointing into the 1 to make this other 2, and then a 1 pointing down into the 8. Maybe I'll just try something and see how this goes. In this case, the equals looks like it needs to be more 1s because that's the only thing we have enough of. So a 1 pointing into a greater than 3. And we still have quite a few options for that, actually. Okay. So this 2 goes down into the 8. This 8 will be a 1. So, I think we're going to make the 8 with a 6 and 2 1s. I think that's our only way of doing it, at least based on what I've currently played. So now we need a 1 going into the less than 3 with a 2 there, a 1 going into the greater than 4 with a 5 there. Yeah, this will work. 4 when the equals there, 1 that goes there. There are probably other ways to do that one. Yeah, it was all about getting all those 1s distributed, I suppose. Okay, there we go. We're on to the hard. Let's see how I do today. Hard's been tricky recently. It's a more compact grid than it's been the last few days, at least. Okay, so we have 4 equivalence regions, 2 of size 3, 2 of size 2. So we have 3 6s, 3 4s, 3 2s. So 2, 4, and 6 are our candidates for those 3 regions. And then we have a 3 here, which points up into an equivalent 2. So the 3 1 can't point up there because we don't have enough 1s. So it's a 3 6 or a 3 4. Either one of those, in theory, works. I'm going to try the 3 6 because we have a less than 6 that is used there. I'm going to try and not pre-solve this whole thing because that can be tedious, and it's not a very big grid. So that would mean we'd need another 6 here pointing into the less than 6, which either of our current possibilities would achieve. So what are our 2 3s then? They'd be a 4 and a 3, which means, no, they could be a 2 as well. Sorry. Okay. There's probably maybe I should be thinking about this more logically. I'm not quite sure what I should be thinking of here. Let's put a 2 and a 6 there. No, that doesn't make any sense. Then we'd need 4 6s, which we don't have. Sorry. Then how, let's see. Okay, this is more constrained than I thought. If we put 3s up here, do we have enough? Yeah, then we'd use 2s and 4s in the other 2 equivalence regions. Okay, so we'll try that. So then 6 points into less than 6. I'm going to use a 5 because we're not using those for anything else at the moment. And then we would need a double down here, which would be a 4, and then a 4 going into the greater than 3, which doesn't work. Okay. So that's wrong. Actually, that's a good thing to think about in general. This equivalence region needs something that comes off of a greater than 3. Okay. So what about if we use 6s for that? No, that won't work, actually. I think the two left cells of this 3 equivalence region need to be horizontal, because if this is vertical here, yeah, that creates a problem there. Okay, that's good to know. That's a good thing to have figured out, actually. So this needs to be a double 4 or a double 2. It needs to be one of those two. And I think it can't be the double 4, because one of the things we determined before is that the 4 can't point into the greater than 3. Okay, this is actually helpful to think about it this way. So the 2 goes there. The 2 now points down into the greater than 3. I think this is correct. So now, let's see. So we know we can't put anything vertically there, which means we need another double going across here. This is the way to think about this puzzle. The 4s go there. We now need one more 4, which is forced. It's this one. Okay, I'm pleased I've finally landed on something that is a bit more concrete. So now we need our equivalence region, which is 3s or 6s. So we need one of them that points into a less than 3, which can only be this 3. So that goes there. We're now going to need a 3 pointing out. We'll come back to that. We need a 3 pointing into the equivalence, which must be the 6, because that will allow us to point into the less than 6 here. And then we finish it off with the 3 in the equivalence region. Okay, there we go. That was good once I started realizing the bit about how the doubled dominos worked. Yeah. Let's see. So I guess the way to think about that was to just think about how these little peninsulas in the lower right and top right were interacting. They kind of forced the horizontal arrangement of dominoes adjacent to them, and that then made some explicit demands. Okay, well, there we go. Got there ultimately. Those are the pips. Back tomorrow. Bye for now.